Make individual design elements stand out by using a puff foam. Use polyethylene foam sheets, scissors, and temporary glue. Start by digitizing elements that have no foam. Use the same color shade for the foam as you use for your thread. Once the embroidery is finished, tear away exceeding foam from design element edges. Use tweezers or scissors to remove foam from small areas and use an industrial heat blower to give your design elements a nice clean finishing touch. Today we will have a look how we digitize designs ready for 3D puff foam. We will start with a new page and we will load an appropriate image. I have selected this one here. Alright, so we will digitize the inner side, the black side of the two letters R as puff foam. That's our intention. The yellow outline border and the black border here, this will be done in satin stitch, and this will be done actually before the puff foam elements are being done. In order to not take too long for our demonstration, I will only make one example based on this letter R here. So we think about the sequence. We'll start with the serif here and then digitize this part here for puff foam, and then we will travel down here and close this part of the R coming from the bottom, and then ultimately we will finish it off with this part here. So basically we will digitize it in segments. Let's start with zooming in here. First thing I would like to do is to hold down the puff foam that is being placed on the embroidery area, and we will do that with a running stitch. And let's start with some lock stitches here. So I will tack down the puff foam with some wide open zigzag type of stitches, and travel up down here so that we also cover this area here. Alright, once we are done, let's travel back to this side, because here is where I would like to start my element here. Let's lighten up the image a little bit and let's zoom in really big here. So these parts here, the open serif areas, I will pat them down with what I call triangle stitches with jagged edges. So I will use my pen tool and draw one of these triangle areas, and I'll stick them out slightly from where the puff foam will actually cover it. So with O I can close the segment. Let's move the nodes ever so slightly over there. And once this is done, I will convert this into a satin, like so. And for the satin elements, I will close the density very, let's say, use a very tight density here, 0.20, and my purpose here is I want the inside part to be jagged and the outside part to be straight, because the needle will perforate in here where you see the little dots, and this perforation with the blade will cut down the foam, and I want this to happen on the outside and not really here on the inside. So I will go into the segment properties, and here, jagged, let's find out what side is the correct one. So that was first side, it's good, and I will limit let's say the maximum jagged range to 1.5 millimeters, that's good. So you see it sticks out of the outline that I've digitized by 1.5 millimeters, and the shortest or the minimum jagged range, let's try -1. Okay, this looks good to me. You see here, perfectly jagged shape there. So we're done with this, and let me just accommodate the start point and the end point of this element here. So we will travel now to the other side of the serif. I will do that with the run stitch. Travel right here, and yet again I will digitize one of these triangle elements by doing exactly the same as I did before. We close the shape, we accommodate the anchor points to the areas where I really want to have them, like so, and then I'll convert this art segment into a satin segment as I did before. So we have a nice tool here called the painting here is called the segments painter. So I select this one here. I want to copy the settings of this element, and then I will select this one here and I will paste the segments there. And you see here the jagged edge is going on the outside. That's because I drew this element the other way around. So I just need to go into my segment settings, and here where it says jag, I should change this jagged side to be the other side here. Second should be the second one. Okay, so Shift X. I think I had more than one segment here set. Okay, so let's go to the second one. Right, apply. Now we're good. Well, let's now continue here with the serif. Let me also check here the entry and exit points. Okay, they're good. So let's draw the serif part here, and here I'll draw the shape exactly as I see it here. Here we'll go and draw a little, yes, like let's call this a mountain, which will compensate for the stitch overlaps. You will see that later on when we digitize this part here on top. So you see here the shape on this side. I draw it with this little mountain here. Now let's convert this to satin. Place the angle lines, maybe one more here, and then we generate the stitches. So this element here also needs to have very tight density. 0.20 is good, and let me place the exit point to a place where it will connect nicely with the next element. So the next element will be this part of the R. And zoom in here. I will use my pen tool again, and we will draw the shape here with simplify it a little bit here. And when we go up here, we have this little edge here, and then we come up with this spiky part. Okay, I will draw it up to here, where we have this corner, and let's go a little bit further in here. And here I will also draw this little mountain that I did on the serif part below. So the stitches will actually overshoot in this area here. And here we arrive to this part. So we have here particularity. I will draw the angle line, the stitches turning this way, and here, where I have this spiky part, I will need to cut this off and make it as a separate element. So let's do that with the knife tool, which is shortcut C, and we will cut this element here. Control K. We have two pieces now. Alright, so let's take piece number 1, which is the main element, and I will convert this into satin with the stitch angles turning this way, and now we're arriving here behind the stitches. So here we need to place the angle line in a way that it will perfectly line up with the triangle part here. So we have using quite a strong twist here. Let's change this here, stitch angle. So now here we're starting to change the direction towards the end. Let's have a look how this looks like. See here we need to accommodate this a little bit better, like so. Okay, getting there. Okay, so now we need to set the same settings as we have here in this serif part. So I'll use my settings painter, select copy, and then select this part and paste. There we are. Good. The exit point of this part, we place it there. And now we will travel down with running stitches to this part here. So let's use the run stitch tool to do that. We travel straight down here. And let's zoom in this part. As we already know, this is an open serif here, so I will draw my triangle like so, and then with the anchor tool, okay, this is good, and then place angle lines, basically convert this out segment into a satin stitch. Okay, we're good here. So the only thing we need to do is with the settings painter, I copy this again and paste. Perfect. So we have let's place the start point here and the exit point there. And yes, so we will now draw the main shape here. Come here with curve points. Then we come up here. Here I will, since this is on one piece here, I will draw by doing the overlap here. Okay, here we turn the tool into curve, and here we have line, curve, line, and then we'll close the shape here. So we're good here. We convert this part now into satin. The stitch angle here, and here we are starting to turn the stitch angle. Let's place this one here. Here we have stitch angles going this way. Alright. And again, we will select one of the segments of the main part to use the segments painter. Copy and paste. Start point here, exit point there. Perfect. And the last part is this one here. So let's hide the stitches. We have a better view of the shape. And let's start to draw here with this curve here. And here we have curve points. Here we turn to a line, and let's do a little overlap here. So basically overlapping to make sure that we will not end up with a gap. Here we have some curve shape, and here we turn to straight again, and at the end we use the O on the keyboard to close the shape and select it. Let's hide the image, press D so we can convert this part into a satin segment. Here I will place an angle line here and then make sure that stitches are turning this way, and here stitches turning that way. Okay, so we are good here. Yeah. Let's have a look at the image beneath. Maybe I will move the anchor point here ever so slightly to make sure that we cover this part here well. Okay, we're good here, so I select this segment here, and again with the segments painter, copy and paste, so we end up with the same segment settings. So let me see here the stitch angle. I like to have the stitch angle in such areas, yes, that they nicely match, or they match well. So I select this segment here, and to change the stitch angle here slightly, so it ends up like this. Here as well. Let's see how this ends up. Okay, you see here stitch angles are getting better into from one side into the other side. Okay, let's have a full view of what we're doing so far. Good. 3D. Let me check whether the start and end points are good here. Yes, that looks fine so far. Let's hide the image. Oh, you see, we forgot to punch this little part here, so I'll do that right now. And use the angle line tool, and I have this little satin element here. Okay, so we need to make sure that this little part ends up with the same settings as the other ones. Good, here you see some stitches are being filtered out, so let's make sure that we have the minimum stitch length. Maybe reduce this to 0.3 millimeters. Let's see how this ends up. Yes, see, it's generating without filtering too many little stitches. We need them in order to perforate, cut the foam. So this part should be a branch of number 6 here. Alright, so let me move this together. I select both, and then with Control L, which is branching, I will end up with the correct part here. So we only need to move the exit point to the correct location, and then we should be fine. Let's have a look with the slow redraw we have been doing so far. Okay, Shift X to hide the outlines. Alright, so it looks good to me here, and this is a small explanation how to deal with designs that are being used for puff foam. The important part is that you have the parts that are ending up with very open wide satins here and here, like in the serif, that you pat them down with these triangle elements here, because the foam, otherwise the foam will stick out here. Alright, that's the intention, to cut the foam here in this area by placing that element that will perforate the foam perfectly, like so. And the reason I'm sticking them out a little bit is because the stitches here from the serif will push out anyway, and the stitches of this part here from the triangle, they will push in a little bit. So at the end of the day, this will cover up, end up very nicely. Alright, thank you very much.